Well, welcome back. I hope that wasn't too long a wait from the first video a minute ago. We are going to move on to the other aspect that I've talked about before, and I want to hone in so that hopefully you can, you all that I hear me and are understanding and learning this journey that we're on, can use the techniques and understandings that I'm going to share with you to greatly improve your manifestations in your journey, because I have proven it to me, to myself, that the information that I've learned and am sharing with you, it works. It's just that simple. It really, truly works. So a few years ago, I did a video about the secret that was not in the secret. So we're discussing the law of attraction here, and once I've consumed and digested the reference materials that I've spoken about, and then sat back and watched and observed how things work, what people say, what happens to them, the way they feel, and the way they continue to feel over time based on what they think, how they speak, the words they use, and so on and so forth, as the cycles of manifestation continue. So, for those who have watched The Secret or listened to What the Bleep Do We Know, and read the book Ask and It Is Given, and so on and so forth, will have developed a good understanding of the law of attraction. But this is to have a full understanding, it is a journey over a long period of time and a lot of observations and rereading and re-understanding how things work. Now, quick disclaimer, what we're talking about is how energy and universe works in the consciousness, in our physical manifestations of the spiritual nature of what we are. And as I stated in the previous video, we come into the physical manifestation and we start experiencing things. Sometimes we experience some really good things and sometimes really bad things, and or good or bad, it doesn't matter, but the way we feel about these things that we experience is the emotion that's tied to it. Whether we're happy or fearful or nervous or whatever, all of these feelings are given to us so that we may be aware of what we're manifesting and what we're doing, so that if there's a not good feeling, maybe we know we need to change things. So in the movie The Secret, they tell you quite simply, you get what you think about, you get what you speak about, and one of the biggest things that I've said in a bunch of my videos is the problem is our language, the words that we use in how we communicate. They all have attractional vibration to them. They all have meanings, and because we have had our language usurped, it's really hard to know exactly what we are manifesting sometimes, because of, quite simply, living in a soup of crap. A soup of crap that has been injected through our public education systems, through our media, and so on and so forth. So one of the first things I always say is learn what you're actually saying, because you're going to manifest the words you spew out of your mouth. It will come to bear. You will deal with these issues at some point in time, and if you're not liking the world that you live in, maybe you should look at what you're thinking and saying. But in The Secret, there's a big gap, and they tell you, oh, well, just do this and just do that and just do this and everything will magically happen for you. Well, they're right, with one big exception. And that is this. Each and every one of you and I have lived and experienced all this past, all this history, all this misunderstandings of what is and how things work, how our legal system works, how our monetary system works, how history works, all the things that we've taken in being, a bunch of hogwash and crap. It's just that simple. And because of that, we only have that reservoir of neurochemical memories stored up in our big gray noodle up here. That's all we've got. And because we have not been taught or told how to take control of that, well, that's the predominant thinking that we have, and that's why most people, when you listen to them talk and you're having a conversation, most conversations between most human beings are simple memory recalls. Most of the time when average people get together, oh, I experienced this. Oh, I saw this from so-and-so and that happened. And it's just a battering of experiences. Now, mind you, that can be a good thing if you have the ability to get a hold of your thoughts and your vibrations and whether you're going to hold on to these thoughts or simply discern them. And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. But the point is this. We generally follow that quote that I gave you in the last video. Our initial responses defend pre-existing thoughts and beliefs. And I've said this before, you hear, well, why you do it? Well, my grandpa said that this is the way you do it and this is the way I'm going to do it because my grandpa did it. Well, if that's not right and it doesn't work too well, why? Okay, when doing our studies of the law of attraction and listening to the audios of Kevin talks about several main points. One is teachability index, your willingness to learn, which most of us are, and it's matched with your willingness to accept change, which most of us don't, believe it or not. And so if your initial response is to defend a pre-existing belief, then you're not in control of your mind, and when new information comes into your mind, are you properly discerning it? So boil all this down, and what does it mean? It means that we are the creatures of our own experiences and habits. And for my young apprentice, I've said it to her. You are, and this applies to all of you who are listening to me, you all are a culmination of everything you've ever put into your body and your mind and your habits. The habits that you develop, good or bad, you're a combination of everything that's been put into it. And because of that, law of attraction says that which is like unto itself is drawn. So you have the propensity to live out the bad habits, pretty much mostly. We all get these habits, and we think we can go in and watch a movie like The Secret, and oh yeah, I can do this, and some of us get some success with it. But the reason why the majority of all people who have watched The Secret, What the Belief Do We Know, Your Wish is Your Command, Asking Is Given, all these references, and have not become multi-millionaires, is because in the movie The Secret, one thing they do not tell you And very, very few sources of information will actually tell you this. There are some, and you can find it if you listen, but it's hidden, because if you understand this, you might gain a little humility and go, oh, I do have to change something. Because ultimately, the only way anything in your life is going to change is if you change something. And that primarily means that you have to change your feelings and thinkings in the now. As we spoke about in the last video, now is the time to vibrate and think positively about the things that you want to manifest, and believe them, and be thankful for all the things that you want to manifest into your life. You must be thankful, even though you don't see them. You haven't experienced it back there in the past, and it's hard to. So that, there's some techniques that are given for that. But the most powerful technique that they show, because they say it in the movie, well, if you want that new car, go window shopping for the new car. Go sit in it. Go smell it. Go experience it. Go take it for a test drive so that you can develop those feelings and thoughts, so that you can hold on to them, so that you can vibrate them in. All right? But the most important part is the hardest part. And that is, and so they tell you. So let me add this in. The fun part about this is they throw it into your face what it is that you need to be successful on that level, to be able to change things, make things happen, and quite frankly do things in a very, very fast way. If you have the highest of focus, very strong focus, and the proper support. So in the movies, specifically, the Star Wars movies, there are always two: a master and an apprentice. And this is why the secret societies are also set up in that same way. There's always a master and an apprentice. This is why the public education system was destroyed by having such huge classes to bring in 30, 40 students and one teacher who cannot monitor the progress of each student individually to find out the issue of each student directly. This is why you don't see all the original skills, the old original skills, the plumbing, the electrical. As a surveyor, I worked through this educational setup, and that is having a master or a teacher. You can only teach that which you have succeeded in. If you haven't, this is why a lot of people tell you about the fallacy of our education system is because so many of these professors in our colleges, well, they went through school and they got a degree and a degree and a degree, but they never went out and proved that what they knew worked. They just patted themselves on the back and say, look at my piece of paper here. And how well is that working in the financial world now? How well is it working in the political and in business? I mean, you see our dysfunction occurring. So this summarizes the secret in the secret has been shown to us, but none of us few of us will humble themselves enough to realize they need a master. They need a master who has succeeded at certain things to observe our behavior. And this is a hard one because we're all arrogant. All of us have that arrogance. Even I have a little bit to an extent, even though I'm trying really hard to cleanse it out. I've learned a lot, so I'm very confident, but, I have learned to gain control of my arrogance, specifically when I know openly that I want to learn something. Okay? So there are tricks and techniques to what you want to learn and how you want to learn it, but in Kevin's audios, he basically asked this question, who do you listen to? Well, if you want to listen to somebody, who do you listen to? Well, there's two ends to that. The first one is you always listen to your gut. You want to know if you're in vibration with it. You want to feel that feeling in your stomach to know if you're on the right path. That's huge. You have to listen to your frequencies, your emotional vibration, to know if you're in alignment. Okay? If you make a choice and that choice does not feel good, then you can pretty much tell that that choice that you made, well, I don't really have the money for this, or I don't have permission to do it from the government, or throw in all these little programmings that we all have throughout our social structure. Throw that in, and well, you have a recipe for failure if you do not have the ability to listen to and digest constructive criticism from a master. The biggest problem is most of us, when we get past the age of 20 or so, we think the learning process is over with. And I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of my learning in my life has taken place in the last 10, 12 years. I have learned more about how this world works in my 50th decade, from the time I was 40 to the time now I'm going to be 53 next month. In the last 10 plus years, I have learned more about this world and how it works, this universe, energy. Of course, we learned a lot of stuff in the last few years about a lot of the lies, a lot of the mistruths. So, my friends, if you can gain control over your thoughts, specifically those little ones that are in the back of your head that you don't want to let people know about, but everybody has them. It's that little voice in the back of your head. If you can gain control of that, always being aware of the feeling of that thought, and knowing the moment you don't feel good about that thought that you need to change it, and maybe you reword it into a positive statement, and make sure the words you're using are exactly what you want. There's a lot of good lessons that have been put out there about making sure the recipe of your words are exactly what you want, because you do get what you think about and speak about. But the real secret is knowing that the fastest way to get what you want is to listen to somebody who has succeeded at what you want. And that means you need a master, and you will be an apprentice. And until you can prove it to yourself that you have succeeded at whatever it is that you're talking about, whatever that topic is, until you can succeed at it, you really don't have any business teaching anyone anything. Because where's the proof that you know what you're doing? But we're not like that as humans. We want to, oh, look, I just did this, and I put up videos like crazy. And hopefully in those videos you see that there are not successes all the time, because most of the time we learn from our own failures, because that's how we're stupid heads. We go out and we do stupid things because we don't take the time to go learn something first. But if you, my friends, can follow these two simple things, they have changed my life in ways that I can't even imagine, and it brings in good things, and sometimes there's negative things, they come in, but if I stay focused on, no, this is not the world that I want to live in, it's amazing how those things will drift away. I can tell you about amazing manifestations, things that, 20, 30 years ago, and I scratched my head and going, there ain't no damn way that's going to happen in my life, and now I'm going, you know what? The tools that I just acquired here, the table saw, joiner, planer, and the tool cabinet that we got in here, those 4 items are one of many pieces of proof that the universe, God will move everything to give you what you want if you can show him truly that you want what it is. That means you have to vibrate your energetic self in thankfulness for those things having already been manifested. And that's not easy to do if you don't know how that feels. And it takes a little while to practice and change the way you feel. Because when you're feeling negative, or you're feeling fear, and you're feeling hate, you ain't nowhere near the planet you need to be on. So go find a master. Go find somebody who succeeded, because if you believe, and I haven't found any evidence to disprove this statement, but there is the one Mr. Polney talks about all the time. He uses Ecclesiastes. I think there's nothing new under the sun, that everything has been, will be. Well, if that's the case, I'm just using it for the point of my argument here. That means somebody out there knows how to do everything. Now, the question is, are you humble enough to follow one of my mottos? Listen to all and follow none. Are you willing to follow? Isn't that a catch-22? Point is this. When you find people who know what they're talking about on a certain level, that does not mean you need to completely disregard them if they say something that you know to be totally off the wall, something that's completely out there, and you don't dispose of them and throw them away because they said something you don't agree with. He said that, and that's it. He's out of my book. That's the stupidest thing you can do. You listen to everyone. And even, I'll even say, somebody that we know who recently said this in a video. It's just when he said it, it was like, yeah, you said it. Mr. Roy Potter even said that. Why does he listen to this person? Why, if you don't like Alex Jones, why do you keep badgering him? He says because he comes out with information sometimes that could be very critical. And that's the way things work. You can find diamonds in the rough. You can find the piece of information that you need when you least expect it. And that's the way the universe works. That's the way things move. You never know how things are going to line up. When I did my negotiations for those first 3 tools, because Roger did such a nice job of bringing that price point down, it got me so close to the toolbox amount, I had to throw it out there. You ask and it is given. You have to believe and you have to vibrate it now. Because when I stood right there and I smiled at him, I said, I got one more thing for you. I said, you did such a wonderful job, putting these together. You filled my requests here. Now, here's the thing. I've got this much currency left, and I held it up to him. I said, I've got this much. I dare you to take it out of my hands. I want this for my partner. I said, it doesn't add, the numbers don't add up. I'm missing by, it was several $100s. It's actually a pretty good amount. I'm missing by so much. Is there any chance you could make this happen? And I left the door open. And it took him 30 minutes, but it happened. So the point is, this is the control that you need and the skill sets to get it. And the law of attraction is really, really, really just that simple. But our ability to control and use the law of attraction has been so muddied that most of us can't overcome our own mind. We just can't get over our own crap in our own head. And I've seen too many people fear not getting it, and that's what they do. They not get it. And I'm making these 2 videos because I just had an interaction with somebody, and I wanted him to believe that he was going to get what he wanted. And I think that's going to work, because why not? Why not? You have only so many cycles around this big campfire in the sky. You might as well party it up while you can. You know? I'm not saying do harm to others in order to get what you want, because you don't have to. All you got to do is ask, be thankful for it, and then sometimes find a mentor that knows how to get where you want to go. If it's anything of significance, little things, they come and go real easy. But then for some of us, even the little things are mountains. So why make mountains out of molehills? I don't know. Anyway, I hope this helps all of you. I know we're going through challenging times of change, and cycles are not quite like what they used to be, but in these periods of time are the biggest opportunities. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, my experiences are proof enough for me, and all I'm going to do is refine my skill sets at manifesting the things I want. And some will come along and some won't. And I think that's where we're going spiritually, is to go back to where we're supposed to be. I'll leave you with this one last statement. I was listening to a Bowl Pony, and what is the other girl's name? Angie Green? Julie Green. There's a couple of women that he was talking to, and she made the statement out of the Bible that, you know, we were not supposed to be slaves, that God's people were supposed to be the kings and queens on this land, or on this planet, whatever you want to call it, that we were supposed to be kings and queens, not servants. So, can you learn how to stop thinking like a slave or a servant by asking permission for everything and just start doing it? It'd be awful hard for the psychopathic powers that be to handle each of us just choosing to live our lives the way we want if we just said, nope, I'm happy to be here and this is what I'm going to manifest. Hope this helps you. It takes time for us to practice, to learn, to get a hold of our thoughts, and to truly be aware, Jedi mind aware of our feelings in the now. Now. And now. And now, my friends, I bid you a good afternoon, and I hope you enjoy. You take care, and we'll talk again soon.